Hello, everybody. Good morning. Today, if I sound a little bit sexy, it's because I'm having a sore throat issue. Yay. Don't worry about that. No, you hear me coughing every now and then. It's okay. It's fine. No, nothing will happen. Right. So, good morning to everyone. Welcome to the 6th of September. So, tomorrow, I think is the what we call 7/15 day of the 7th, I think. Right. So, yeah, tomorrow will be the day, where you will see everybody burning everything on the street. Right. So, how's everyone doing? Right. So, now today topic a bit special. I'm gonna touch on the four separate belief system lah. Let's not call religion. Okay. In China, there is right now a very popular one, right? So touch them a little bit about their conceptualization behind it, and also what is their current status in basically China, right? So nothing too deep for anybody, right? So, and of course, I'm removing all the deity level stuff first, okay, right? So that you don't get too confused with it, or else no, we like to fight in it, right? So almost confirm if this episode go into China, sure kena ban, but China, no one watches YouTube. It's a mortal sin to watch YouTube in China. So pretty safe. All right. So now, hello Packboy, hello Manu, hello Kaheng, hello CX. How are you guys all doing? Hopefully, the month of September is doing fine. Right. So we are almost entering into the chicken month already. Right. So it's gonna be an exciting month this particular month. Right. Because we're almost at the end of the year already. Right. So everybody should be preparing for their year-end celebration by now. All right, so come, let's go in and take a look at this. And let me shrink myself down to the smaller version. Oh, great, right? So now this is the four separate belief system in China, right? So just tell you, shamanism here. Cantonese, we call them Singa. Then you got Taoism. Then Taoism is Toga, right? So and then you got Confucianism. Confucianism is Yuga, not yoga. 儒家思想, right? So and then you got Buddhism, which is Phật, right? So this is the four separate system that is inside. So they are active in different timelines. Shamanism, which is the Singa, which is the longest ever one. Yep, right. So they are the very, very long ever what we call belief system, like called religious system, right? So I'm gonna concentrate a little bit more on shamanism, which means I'm gonna put it on behind, right? So then we're gonna talk a little bit more on the more modern system, right? So I think Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism is pretty much very stock standard, right? So and a lot of people actually cannot differentiate between them because China actually practices a mix of three, right? So right now China practice one is a mix of three, which is the Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. There are three is put on together, right? But the three of them are not brother sister. They are pretty active in different era, right? So and why they're active is tied very closely to how they present themselves during that particular time. So because all of them have different basis of belief system. So shamanism is a little bit different, but not too different, right? So later I will give you a bit of a comparison, point out the obvious differences between them. Nothing wrong, nothing right here. I'm not saying that this fella is better than that fella better than this fella. Now, whichever one that you want to believe in is fine. I'm just telling you that all these four belief systems exist in this particular country called China, especially for those of you who are, gonna go into China. So I'm going into China to do excursion, right? So next month, which is the month of October, I'll be going there to do a recce on a route that I've planned, right? So so I will be probably stepping on this fella tails for no good reason. So that's why I've been doing a bit of research on this for those of you who are going into China also. Just pay attention a little bit. Hello Sandra, good morning, how are you doing? Right, so now let's start with Taoism and Confucianism. Now both of them are basically the more what you want to call the OG version, right? So shamanism aside first, I just put shamanism, but shamanism is even more older. So Taoism, Confucianism is more OG, which is the one that probably has the most amount of people believing. Then Buddhism is later only coming in. Buddhism is actually later. By the way, Buddhism is not from China. Buddhism origin is actually from India. Right, so yes, the Buddhism is from India. Your journey to the west is basically the semi canon story of how China went and take some scripture, right? So the quick one is that Buddhism came into China, wasn't very popular at that point in time, right? So wasn't very popular, you know. So all three of them gained popular is just because a certain empire adopted them. It's because their teaching matches the empire requirement, so the empire adopted them, right? So one of the empire actually adopted Buddhism. Then, you know, the particular empire only sent their representative to go India to get the original text. So it took a long time for the Indians Sanskrit text to be translated to Chinese to be used. So that one Buddhism, we later talk about it, right? So right now very popular in China, right? So let's start with Taoism. So that Taoism is basically something that started by this guy called Lao Tzu. Human is basically called Lao Tzu. So you guys probably have heard him before. So he is very famous for using this thing called Tao Te Ching. Your I Ching, right? So you study before, you know, your hexagram, Tao Te Ching, right? So it's basically that. So Taoism, of course, as the name suggests, they believe in the Tao. The Tao is basically, if you just translate it literally, it's called the path. Right, so now the core belief system in Tao is basically God or don't have. You, her, wu, that's it. Right, so that is the core belief system. Whereas Confucianism, the core belief system is filial. 你的那个叫做孝顺 right? So 你的孝顺 filial, right? So filial piety, right? You guys call it, right? So 孝顺 is what the Confucianism. It's very important for you to know that the basis first, because it swing the entire thing. And Buddhism is basically yin or you know, the one that you guys always say karmic. Now you see in Confucianism, Taoism, and also shamanism, there's no such thing as karmic. Only Buddhism. Buddhism is a karmic term. Okay, right? So only Buddhism, they run on karmic. So if you have heard anything about karmic thingy, it's from the Buddhism text, it's not from Taoism. Taoism don't have anything called karmic. So when you talk about the Tao, which is God or don't have, which is the entire idea of yin yang, right? It's, there's no right and wrong in how you choose the thing. Whichever that you choose is basically a path that you need to go through. And in your life, you are supposed to discover your path. That's why it is, right? So which means that in the Taoism belief, right? So Taoism actually believe in, you want to call rule of nature or rule of survival. Whoever strongest in that particular area should survive. That's basically Taoism thinking, right? So now when Taoism was first coined out, by the way, you know, Taoism, the you want to say that the grand deities on top that they believe in is basically Taisang Lao Jun, right? So there's, you're gonna see that there's a story that say that, you know, Lao Tzu, after Lao Tzu passed away already, you know, then he got recruited by the heaven palace to you know, give him the title of Taisang Lao Jun. Now this part of it, please don't go too far away. You know, all these deities just remove first. Yes, Taoism, they believe in this Taisang Lao Jun, and then Taoism also have many different sects. As in, you know, many different belief systems. There's Taoism, there's actually 3 fellows on top that they worship, right? So they call the San Jing or San Zhen, right? So whatever it is, right? So there's 3 fellows, and different sect may highlight different of them, right? So like the biggest Taoism sect in China right now is basically the Quan Zhen Pai. Right? Quan Zhen Pai is one of it, right? So if you've seen the, again, Chinese movie, the Qun Zhan Chat, right? So the 7 Swordsmen journey down to, I don't know, whatever, journey down the mountain, that particular show, right? So it's basically the Qun Zhen Pai, right? So they are the biggest. Qun Zhen Pai is the biggest. Then you got your Ngo Mei, it's another one. Ngo Mei worship a different fella. Then you got your Mo Dong. Mo Dong also worship a different fella. They are all called Taoism, right? So now, because Taoism believe in the path, so during the time when Taoism was active, Confucianism also is active at that time, but Confucianism, Taoism first, right? So Taoism come first, you know, they got all their belief system from the Tao Te Ching, right? So now here's the thing, right? So now whether Lao Tzu and the Confucius, right? So Confucius is from the Confucianism, but whether they have met each other, talk to each other, not, don't know, right? So of course, you know, the story down there is said that Confucius also took a lot of learning from Lao Tzu, so through the Tao Te Ching, right? So but there are certain things that Confucius does not agree with. Now Confucius runs on the entire idea of filial, right? So their belief system is that you have to respect whoever that's on top of you. So Confucianism core belief is you need to respect your parent. As a parent family system, you need to respect the society. The society need to respect the ruler. There's a very clear respect system happening. Whereas in Taoism, there's no such thing. Taoism is survival of the fittest. If you are strong, you meant to take the leadership. Is the what is the decree of the nature that you shall go in and take the position, right? So that's a very different. So now if you take a look at it at the time where Taoism basically run, it is during a time whereby the kingdom is very fractured, right? So which means that it's the time whereby, you know, there's many different kingdom, you know, you fight me, I fight you, you fight me, I fight you. And Confucius actually in that particular time traveled all over China. The only reason why you see Confucius temple all over China is because this bugger has been to every single place in China ever. During the time whereby, you know, transport was crappy, sorry to say, Confucius actually, during Confucius time, he actually is pretty miserable, pretty big failure, right? It's only his descendant after that, you know, one of the later I go in, one of the empire basically took over his teaching, because his teaching at that point of time suits the governmental need, right? So all this is very good at controlling mass people, right? Because this belief system, you know, sometimes is very good at controlling mass people, especially, and sorry to say, I only use the word simpleton, right? So a lot of people actually don't want to think a lot of stuff. So when you add certain thing which is, you know, a divine knowledge inside, very easy for them to adopt. Don't have to think complicated, right? So Taoism is basically that. Now, during the time whereby all the thing is fractionized, right? Taoism belief basically work very well. Because why? You know, you are talking to people about, you know, if you are the strong one, right? So you are destined your path to do this, right? So you should go and do this. If you can take on power, you should go take power. So everybody want to become a warlord, you know, they want to take their piece of land, then this particular belief system is good. So now what happens if you go for Confucianism at time, you say that, oh, no, you need to respect the people on top of you. If the fellow on top of you is a piece of shit, do you respect the fellow? In Taoism, in Confucianism, you have to respect, you know, even if your mom and dad is a complete piece of no use, you would still have to respect and take care of them. Right? That was the, you know, biggest difference. When we talk about being filial, that's basically it. Right? So now you see that, you know, when unification of China become a thing of the past, so which means that, you know, Xin Huangdi, after Xin Huangdi actually unified China. By the way, Xin Huangdi unified China for a very short time, and it wasn't very long lived. Again, it's because of the belief system of the people. Unifying is one thing, you know, to make everybody believe in the same, to have the same target is different. So Xin Huangdi did not manage to do, by military power, he unified everybody, he's done that, but could not sustain the unification together. Because why? Taoism dictate whoever stronger who go up. So there is always rebellion going up. Now until Confucianism, somebody inside there said, hey, Confucianism seems to be good. Because why? When you're Confucianism that time, right, you do not fight people on top of you. So if you're the grand ruler of the entire land, right, they don't fight you. It's a better idea, isn't it? So that's why Confucianism during that time, it was probably a few more 100 years after that, after Confucius died. So it was during the Confucius probably grandchild. At that point in time, only the empire starting to adopt the belief of the Confucius, because the agenda of the Confucius of making people being filial to their on top is correctly placed into the what China need at that particular time, which is unification of the people. You want to stop the people from trying to replace whoever is on top. So of course you're on top, right? You're the emperor who's on top. If this particular agenda is good for you, then you adopt this agenda. That's a very logical way to do so, right? So during Taoism point is that everybody is emperor, many emperors. So if I'm many emperor, I want a belief system, you know, whereby I can legitimately go up and take over another emperor, better emperor, I hit. So that's Taoism, what Taoism said, right? So no, Taoism got no such thing as right and wrong. It's just basically you have the capability, the nature said that, you know, you are there, you need to go there. So which means that, you know, if you're the apex predator, you're the apex predator. That's what Taoism basically teaches. So you can see that Confucianism, Taoism right now, you know, has a bit of a, you know, here and there, right? So if you are somebody who want to take over the empire, you want to become your own warlord, then you believe in Taoism. If you are somebody who is controlling the mass public, then you will go and propagate to the mass public that this Confucianism way of thinking of being filial, taking care of your elder, wait for your time, which never will come one, right? So it's those type of things, right? So which is what Confucianism basically is advertising for. Now, Confucianism never adopted the entire idea of having deity on top of it. So Confucianism is very human-based, you-based, right? So everything is about you, right? So and then the Taoism has a overarching governing deity system that basically tells you that whatever that you are doing right now, the deity has already planned out for you. So it's, they also give you a platform to blame. And for whatever that you are doing, you say that it's the deity that controls everything. It's a deity that play the chess board, saying that you should become the thing. Right? So when you want to become the emperor that time, you just say that the deity allow me, right, to become the emperor. Right? So the deity say something to me, say that I should become the emperor. Whatever it is, right? So that's how the system basically go, right? So that's the two major system that's basically running, right? So Confucianism is basically self-based, right? So everything is about human, right? So no deities kind of stuff, right? So of course, this one is the Confuci, right? So Confucius, Confuci, right? So who is the fella, right? So your Taoism, you got your Lao Tzu. So your Confucianism, you got your Confucius, right? So then how did Buddhism come in? Now, Buddhism actually come in and got themselves into a lot of trouble in China because why? They don't understand Chinese culture, right? So you can see Taoism and Confucianism, again, shamanism I put aside first, okay? Taoism and Confucianism has been in China for the longest time over, which means that people already have this two fractional mindset already. It's either, I'm the Lord type of mindset, or is that I need to respect my elder type of mindset is already there. So Buddhism come in the mindset of letting go of everything, right? Don't fight anything already, letting go of everything. So so Buddhism basically run on karmic, right? So the entire idea of Buddhism is trying to stop the karmic cycle, stop the cycle of karmic cycle, the cycle of suffering. So now I've described a little bit on the karmic cycle. Is basically coming in, learn your lesson, whatever it is, right? So got everything done now. So you finish all your mission already, then you get disconnected from this karmic cycle. So the Buddhism way of doing things is trying to disconnect you from the karmic cycle as fast as possible, right? So that's basically it, right? So if you think about it, should be pretty okay, man. But they forgot already the approach that they take. You're going into a nation whereby the nation need to grow, the nation need to be productive, and you are asking the people, your believer, to do nothing. That is where they first started to offend the whoever that's run the nation, right? So you see how Buddhism tells you not to have babies. So if you're not to have baby, how the populations will grow? Where are the people going to be? Where's my peasant going to be? I'm a lord right now. Right? So I'm going to come in here. I need people. The farmland need people to do, and more importantly, my military need people. Correct? No, I need soldier to protect myself, to where other people I need that, right? So if you stop having baby, where is all this fella gonna come from? Right? Big major problem in their, the way that they do things already, right? So second way do things is that they are not very productive. Buddhism people are not very productive. So again, you guys are gonna get angry. No, you are practicing a very modern version of Buddhism. The original version is not productive, and basically they do not participate in economic activity. They don't earn money lah. So you don't earn money, right? You don't get tax. So how does government run? Government run through taxation. All right. So you're a bunch of people who doesn't really earn money, doesn't really get taxed. So how? You are considered a non-productive group of people, and worst of it, they need other people to sustain their life. And they go out and, Hua Yuan basically get food from the family outside, right? So, they don't plant their own, they basically don't cook. They don't plant their own food. They don't cook in the temple one. Buddhist temple, no cooking one, I tell you. Original Buddhist cooking, no cooking one. What they do is that early in the morning, they will go out and then they will collect fruit from the people. Then that is the food that they collect. They will eat it for their lunch, dinner, and whatever it is. That's it. So there basically is a group of tapao fellow. food delivery lah. Yeah, they don't cook one. Buddhist temple do not cooking. No kitchen. Right? So that's why I said a little bit modernized. So now you're dealing with a bunch of people who doesn't produce baby. No army, no product, no farmer. Doesn't earn money, cannot tax you. Number 3, you know, you are burdening the people. Can you see that it's actually problematic, you know, the original version that came in when they start to do this sort of teaching. Right? So a lot of time they, you know, cross the government line. Right? They cross the government line. So that's why Buddhism got, you want to say attack, wipe, whatever it is, right? Through the history, you can see that a lot of places, you know, whereby Buddhism is there, right? A lot of time, you know, they get what you want to say, they get bullied lah. But if you understand what they are teaching, right, a lot of government actually doesn't like it because you're not productive. Unlike Taoism. Now, Taoism is the entire idea is that you're supposed to live through nature. So you see, a person who practices Taoism is already number 1. The fella need to be a doctor already. Because why? Taoism, they need to, because they are going to be long-term isolated on themselves, they have to be able to take care of their own health. Taoism would be able to plant their own vegetable, hunt their own food, right? So they are encouraged to learn how to what we call self-protection, kung fu thingy lah, you know. So that's why you see that every single Taoism sect, they will always have their own kung fu move, right? So you know, it's like the Wasan, you know, Wasan, then, you know, they got their Wasan Kim, right? So then you got your Ngome, then, you know, you got your Ngome Kim fight, right? So they always have their own, because why, you know, again, it is not actually they want to go and fight, it's actually, you know, they need to go and kill animal and eat, you know. Taoism can eat an animal anytime, which means that you need to be self-sufficient. So which means that you are actually a productive people, right? So of course, you know, Confucianism is super productive lah, because why, you know, their belief system is that if your family is a fisherman, you know, you need to adopt fisherman. You need to continue the family lineage by having babies. Right? In Confucianism, not having baby is the ultimate crime. You want to talk about getting, you know, hit by lightning, right? So yeah, it's not having baby. Right? So everything in Confucianism is about that succession. Right? You need to continue the family lineage, protect the family name. Right? So that is Confucianism. So that's why it's very popular with the empire, whereby you have the you already have a centralized what you call ruler, right? So centralized ruler, now if you're assigned as a farmer, so you will take care of the farmer lineage. You will forever be farmer. Yeah, you know, so you're a merchant, you will forever be merchant, right? So you will not cross the lines of, you know, or trying to, you know, touch government. By the way, all of these, any one of them try to touch the government usually will. So until right now also is the same. Right, these are people who has a strong influence over the local culture, right? So, you know, it's like right now it's like influencer, right? So you can see China is still doing the same thing when the influencer become too powerful, right? So then they will come in, and as long as they start to touch on government policy, you will start to see that anyone that start to touch on government policy will usually get. Right, so, you know, if you understand this later, I give you some examples of, you know, some people who overstep their boundary. Right, it's not the religion, not the teaching, right? So, no, back to Buddhism will be, you know, so again, they believe in this because all those is the fastest way to cut off karmic time, especially not having babies. And not having babies already guarantee your next karmic tie is cut off already. You cannot transfer your debt to a non-existing. So I stop all the debt collection and all the debt, whatever, at my level. I block. Right, so this is like, you know, if you have a credit card, you know that if your credit card, if you die, you actually don't need to pay the credit card. Yeah, credit card is an unsecured lending. Right, the bank can ask your family member to pay for it, but they cannot bring the family member to court. There's no court right. They can just ask you to pay for it, that's it. So a lot of people don't know that they cannot. Whereas a loan with a guarantor is different. So that's why there's a big difference between a secure lending, which is something that has a collateral, versus something that doesn't have a collateral. So a credit card doesn't have a collateral. So it's Buddhism tells you that if you don't have the next generation, then whatever sin that you have, whatever bad that you have done, end at your path. That's it. Right? Best way to, you know, no more game to play. Right? No more game to play. No, ended already. And so that's basically what Buddhism do. So also same thing, if you stop doing everything, right, like you don't plant vegetable, don't do anything at all, then you are not creating any more karmic cycle. Right, so they are the OG of Tang Ping. Tang Ping is lay flat, quiet quitting. It's basically Buddhism. Buddhism is the one that OG invented, quiet quitting. Right, so Buddhism is quiet quitting life as a human. Do not want to participate in the cycle anymore. Right, so again, also, you don't cook, prepare food, everything, right? So none of your problem already lah. Wherever the food come from, whether the animal die of excruciating death, it's not your coming anymore. Whatever that this particular person has to do to bring food to the table, nothing to do with you. Right, so you can see that all their action basically cut all the karmic cycle, which make them very non-productive. And China actually did a study to ensure that one monk stay alive. You need 14 family to feed the monk. So we see that, you can see that it takes up productivity to support the monk. So that's why, they need to put the monk into a control. So when the monk become too big of a number, they have to do something about it. Right? So it's all economically driven. Right? So all of this, right? So which means that there is a power on top of it, which is a human that want to maintain a good power ratio. So I need to maintain control, and because all these religions belief is easier to seep into the peasants. Right? I cannot have military all over the places. Right? So like somebody asked me, Great Wall of China, why did they build the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall of China was actually built in parts. Every single empire built their little small wall of China. Then after that, because they have problem with the northern savages like the Mongols, right? So northern savages, they are in a place whereby their resources is really very bad, right? So you are in the cold tundra land. So what they do is that they always come over to rob China. So China cannot afford to put a lot of soldier there. So the best way for you to do so is to build walls, put high tall walls that they can't simply get past. And then you can just put a few soldiers there, right? So the number of soldiers needed. So that protected the north side, right? So that basically protected the north side, right, of the thing, right? So same thing, for they cannot have army enough to control every single people. So they need a belief system. Right? In only through belief system that you cannot physically lock the person's body up, but you can lock the mind up. This is what the belief system do. The belief system augment how your mind see things. So different period of time, the Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism basically come in to all of these things, right? So then they, so now you see a Buddhism come in where just nice when the empire is in a way want to release this thing called, I am the emperor, right? So this thing called emperor become not very popular, right? So because again, also there are some Western influence coming in. Now Western very, very early has already adopted the releasing of this entire thing called, you're the emperor, you're the landlord thing, they have gone through their revolution faster, right? So basically people govern the people, right? So you have this. So Buddhism, the belief system of, start to let go of, instead of, an emperor governing you, right? So I will let go of things right now and let you all do whatever you are supposed to do. The entire idea of, letting go. So some emperor inside there adopted this and Buddhism become popular. Right? So right until today, right now, these three, Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, is a mixture of insight, right? So now Buddhism was only surviving until today is because they have adopted a very different thinking. So right now, the Buddhism you believe in China is basically called Chanjiao. So again, there are many, many different sects. Confucianism, I think don't have many sects. I didn't study it properly. I know Taoism, Buddhism, both of them have a governing deity system. So in Buddhism,释迦牟尼.释迦牟尼is the poster child like your Laozi, your Kongzi. So and also释迦牟尼, this three is the human poster child, I want to call it human poster child, you want to know, right? So then on top of that is basically your Huozu, right? So Huozu, so your Taoism and your Buddhism have these two over-governing things. You also need to know that this over-governing thing, there's only one fella. Because when we go into shamanism, you will see that shamanism got many. right? To use all the teaching when you are productive here, right? 60, 70, combine Lao Tzu, we have power, confusion. It's actually what belief system do you want to transmit? I don't know lah. No, so for human is that what benefit you the most lah. So if you are in a position, whereby my son being filial to me is something that I need, right? So then you might want to use 儒家思想 on your children lah. Right? So but if you believe that hey, children, I raise you until a certain number of age, you need to go out and take care of yourself. I'll take care of myself, you go take care of yourself. Then probably maybe Taoism would be something that is more appropriate to teach, right? So or maybe you're the type, I son, these are all the thing, you don't need to come and take care of me, you go live on yourself. Maybe Buddhism is a better thing, right? Look like Diablo Feng Shui version. Right, so now that's the basic part of the Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism, by the way, right? So all three of them basically, what we call exist in China. All three of them have their part, right? So again, if you want to teach somebody to respect the elder, Confucianism is the best way to do so. Their teaching is all about that. So if you want to teach people about a rule of nature, right, path to go, then this is. You want to teach people about releasing stuff, then Buddhism is the good. Right, so which means Taoism is the one that encourage you to acquire more and more. You have the capability to acquire, you go and capability to acquire. Right, so that's basically Taoism way of doing it. No right, no wrong. So you和我而已, Taoism only you 和我. Right, so that's why Taoism a lot of time they teach you something called Wu Wei. Wu Wei mean that you don't actively do anything, things will come to you. That's basically Wu Wei. Right, so then Confucianism is 孝顺, filial, right? So filial, you respect your whoever on top of you, you take care of the fellow on top of you, right? So then will come a day, whereby you replace the fellow on top of you, you become the governing things on top of you. And Buddhism is actively releasing everything. While you are alive, you cut everything off. Okay, right? So that the particular game stop. Right? So like I say that a lot of time, a lot of this, what happen is that they start to step on government. Right? Although you see like the religion's belief system is very big, a lot of people, right? When you start to step on people who have power, you die. Very simple, right? So you see, Jack Ma was also a very influential and powerful people. When that he get into trouble, when he step on the government, probably the one that you guys may know is Falun Gong in China. Right, Falun Gong in China, right? So they again, Falun Gong is a Taoism sect, right? So they become very influential, and the Falun Gong fella again try to touch on the government. Entire Falun Gong gone banned, completely banned. Not only Falun Gong, only all that was when Taoism got into a bit of a trouble. Right, everybody got banned. Every single thing got banned. China has that particular capability of doing things. Right, so like right now is the what we call your Shaolin Si, which is part of Buddhism there, right? So Shaolin Si. Now see when you see the what we call the news saying that it's because this fella took money lah, it's because this fella is having the unsolicited relationship, all those are bullshit lah, I just tell you lah. Because why? This fella was already being accused 10 years ago of the exact same thing, but why 10 years ago didn't do anything? Because 10 years ago, he did not step on the government tail. Right now, he somehow accidentally stepped on the government tail. So that's why government come in and snap. Right? So it's actually a lot of time this belief system is to support the rulers. Man. It is not the belief system that, created the ruler. How about Cholo? Different case. Right, so even if Taiwan got this very big organization which is also running in Malaysia, Suqi or Suzi, right? So that's Taiwan version, really big belief religious system. Same thing. Step on the government right now, they are in like shit, big thing, no problem. Any one of these try to touch on government, usually right? So that's why you need to know who's the who's the head honcho on top of you. Right, so a lot of people think that I'm the majority, I got a lot of people, I got supporter, then I'm great. No, you need to know who hold power. Right, so all of this, if they are supporting the agenda of the ruler, they are usually prosper very fast. But when you are not supporting the agenda of the ruler will come in and they believe in filial piety rather than talk about feng shui belief not realistic. Right? So again, feng shui is out of all of this, right? Right, so which means that all of them would actually, if they want to believe in feng shui, all of them can believe in feng shui. That's why feng shui is not a separate religion. Right, so feng shui is what we call a tool set. It's a separate thingy that run through this. Right. So now we're gonna jump into this today's one, shamanism. You probably have not heard of this because this particular sect is pretty smart, or else they wouldn't be able to survive for so long. Right now it's still there. Right. So no, they don't bother in basically this power struggle. They don't bother because they are, you want to say that their belief system is very fractionalized. I would say, since this is not in China, probably safe. If it's in China, not good. The shamanism is like the tribe gang in our modern society. They work very much like organized crime. They work very much. So the Taoism, Confucianism, Buddhism, they always have a central point of reference, whereas shamanism, not very centralized. They are very fractionalized. So this is like the cryptocurrency of the financial world, shamanism. Very difficult to control. I think to control, very difficult to stop. It's all over the places. But at the same time, they also don't operate in a very big places, only certain places that they operate. So the part of it I want you to understand, if you're going to China, if you happen to be in a place whereby they operate, you better be very careful. Right? Because especially when you are somebody who has the mentality of, oh, I don't believe in this thing, so you got this naive disbelief inside, right? So now, again, I tell you a lot of time, before Isaac Newton discovered gravity and explain gravity to people, does gravity exist? Just always remember that, right? Just because you don't believe in certain thing doesn't mean that certain thing doesn't exist. There's a lot of universal phenomena out there that basically is existing that us human doesn't know freak about, right? So that's why sometimes just be careful, especially when you are going and operating in certain places. This is also like scam. Why does scam work? Because you go to a place whereby the group of people is naive and does not believe in this thing, and it's easy for them to causes trouble there, because again, you cannot oh, I doesn't know about this thing, like people who borrow money, right? Borrow money from licensed money lender Tai Yilong, right? So when they borrow money, that time did the Tai Yilong give them the money or not? Yes, and then you use the money for stupid thing, right? Later Tai Yilong come and collect money from you. Say, oh, I didn't know that the interest is not. There's a lot of this sort of people, right? So when you are approaching shamanism that time, right? So their basic mode of belief is actually trading. Trading. You want something, I have the capability to give you something. I give something in exchange. Right, so that's basically the shamanism way of work. It's like barter trading. Right, so come, let's go in and take a look. Now, before going to take a look, let's usual, just some self-advertising. You want to get in touch with me, please, Telegram is a good way to do so. Substack also, you can do it, right? So Substack also got the PM function. You can basically do that. So Substack is a newsletter. So newsletter, you put in your email, anything that get published will basically send to you so that you don't have to look for it. Or you want to read up all the previous article. Like for example, September forecast for the Qi for the Feng Shui, and also for the and also a feng shui activation, which is going to be a few days later. I think tomorrow. I also don't know which day. They already published, right? So you want to find out that, please go and read the Substack. Or you want a community of people to come support you, right? So come over and join my Facebook fan page, right? So right now we are actually collecting people for the 2026 FSA, right? So if you're gonna come and join us, right? So that's where you can go to sign up, right? So great. Believe or not, just keep quiet. Yes, play dumb sometimes better. Yeah, correct, yes. The entire idea right now is that even if you don't believe in the thing, don't step on that tail. That's all only. Even if you disbelieve in whatever that they believe in, you do not have to step on their tail, right? And figuratively, it's really true, right? So let's take a look at shamanism. Now, shamanism is the belief of animal spirit, which is the very cardinal, very old belief system, which that animal has reached ascension, right? So and only certain place animal can do this, right? So you guys remember, right? I've told you that there is this ascension system whereby you collect merit, you collect 灵气, right? So in this particular point is all animal, all thing, all object will collect 灵气, spiritual energy, you want to call it, right? You collect 灵气. When you collect enough 灵气, you will raise in terms of your ranking. So this animal spirit has raised into the ascension linking of they have conscious already. Right? So now the difference is that this animal spirit, because they can work in the spirit realm. Human don't work in spirit realm, we work in our corporal physical realm. So by the way, this group of people is namely collectively called Chut Sen. So all the Chut Sen would have an animal spirit that they worship. Instead of a human spirit, just now the Taisang Lao Jun is a human spirit, right? So Taisang Lao Jun is when a human ascend, right? So then your Buddhism is when your human ascend, then you become a Buddha, right? So Confucianism, when you ascend, you become parent. You respect whoever's on top of you. When you ascend, you become that person on top. Still an ascension belief system, right? So like this one, human would never ascend into an animal spirit one. Right, so then they have a cooperative system. Now I see the animal spirit, when they ascend that time, right, they start to understand something, which is, hey, I need to collect 灵气, I need to collect this merit, right? So I need to collect merit, and the fastest way to collect merit is actually to, from our point, human perspective, is to gain certain favor, right? So I say, you guys like to do manifestation, right? So this is where I tell you, doing manifestation sometimes can be dangerous. It is not a naive thing to do, because you are asking for something. When you are asking for something and you are not putting in any effort into it, so that's why a lot of time I tell you, if you're not going to put an effort into it, don't go and ask for stuff. Because when you go and ask for stuff, if one of these spirit happen to pass by you, the fellow will be very happy. Because why? The thing that you want usually can be given by them very easily. Because why? Those things that you want is actually useless in their game, right? In the spirit realm game is basically all is the spiritual energy, which is 灵气, and also your 功德, which is your merit. That's all that is count, right? So the thing that us human usually want, right, unfortunately is really useless in their realm. It's like power. Power is useless in their realm. Right? So, you want money. Money is useless in their realm. Usually what you ask for, power, money, fame, love. Love actually is sex. You ask for sex. This sort of stuff to them is useless. Because why? They are what we call immortal ranking. So immortal ranking is like this. You probably is going to be able to live for 1,000 years. If you don't screw up mean that other immortal don't come and murder you. You can still die through, so it's always talk about it's like elf. Elf got very long life, but if you cut the head off, they still die. Same thing with them, they can still be killed. All right. So but if they, let's say that they do things nicely, right, 2,000 years old to them is nothing. So we should go through 2,000 years old. What is power? 1,000 years, how many power interchange already? Many. What is love? And the fellow also live 2,000 years, usually no. Right? So you will see a lot of your lover die. You've seen enough movie that have that, somebody immortal, each and every one of the lover, he see his lover, growing old, dying, after maybe 3, maybe 4 rounds, the fellow start to realize that this thing, no use. Then the fellow become cold and distant. Money also is the same. Right? After a certain amount of time, right? Because you need money to buy things, if you do not need to buy food, you don't get cold to death. You don't even need a place to stay. You can basically stand on the street and live for like 200 years without anything happening. Do you still need money? No need. So the thing that you ask for a human realm, you ask for money, ask for power, ask for fame, all this kind of stuff, right, is basically useless to them. So they are more than happy to exchange this thing for you, to facilitate you getting this thing in exchange for your life collected merit. So you basically is trading your merit for this sort of, temporarily no use. So by the time you actually pass on and then you check your merit account, you'll find that your merit account is zero. Yeah, they have actually basically being able to siphon everything out of you. Is it they are wrong? No. They are just doing what they know how to do. Right? So basic thing, right? So these are called chumasen. Nothing wrong with it, right? So in the olden day, when you have, nothing much, you want to trade for this sort of stuff. So what they do is that, they can cross communicate with each other. So chumasen is always human talking to this animal spirit. Right? They can communicate with them. So, when human needs something, you go and find a chumasen, right? Which is the representative of this particular trading system. And you tell the other fella, hey, I would like to have this, then in exchange is basically your karmic point transfer to them. Right? So the fella and the middleman that does the communication between the spirit and also you would get a cut, a commission out of it. Right? So now the spirit, because every single spirit, later I'll introduce you to some of them, right? So every single spirit, they can make a contractual connection with human, which means that, I appoint you as my agent. So the Chutma Sen, the Chutma Tianjia, right? So they call, which is the student, right? So it's basically the agent. It's basically the agent. And that contract also is basically pretty dangerous, just tell you first. Right, so that's why if you go to places whereby they are very active, you will see a lot of people will come over and tells you that, hey, you need this or not, you need that or not. Very super helpful. Once you become ensnared in their wording, and then you say that, no, maybe especially for those people who doesn't believe, right? Who doesn't believe in these things, that, never mind, play a bit lah, right? Play. Ask for a certain small thing first. You have a certain small thing. What happened? You get the small thing. Then what happened? Start to snowball, right? So then you try to ask for bigger thing, then you found out that you have overdrawn on your karmic point. When you overdraw on your karmic point, what happened, right? Your descendant will need to top up, right? So this is like a 3-generation loan in Japan. You know why Japan houses nobody wants one? Japan, if you buy a house, right, they use a 3-generation loan. Okay, so which means that you buy the house at time, it's not only you borrowing, your son borrowing, your grandchildren borrowing, is also all got drawn out for the house. So what happens is that when your parent die, that time the son doesn't have the money to pay the loan, which is big amount, they actually abandon the house. They don't want the house so that the bank cannot even find the son. Right, so that's why Japan got a lot of abandoned houses. That's basically it, right? So it's gonna be this, right? So let's take a look at their deity, right? So they got 5 very strong deities, right? So they call them the Wuxian, right? So the strongest among them, all very popular one, is basically the fox deity. This is now again, you need to be a bit careful. First. This is called the fox deity Wuxian. The one that you all is very familiar with is Wu Yao. Wu Yao is the the one that you always say that go and take other people's husband one. Wu Lei Jing. Right? One of the same fella, before the Wu Lei Jing become Hu Xian, the fella would have also done the same thing. Right? So Fox Immortal, you go and dare to get charm. Famous. You want to be famous, you go and ask for Fox Deity. Very effective. Right? Very effective to become famous, become very charming. Right? So by the way, a lot of famous artists would actually have a Fox Deity. Yes, they have a fox deity. So again, believe, don't believe, okay, can close eye, doesn't matter. But this fella exists, right? So fox deity, again, fox deity have their fox deity temple. Right? So now this particular system, you want to active, right? You need to build temple. Right? Active build temple is basically a place of trading. A lot of ritual need to be go through in inviting. You not only invite this particular deity a lot, because they don't work alone. They have their hierarchical system. You invite everybody. Right? This is where you want thing, then they will start to say that you go do this, you go do this, you go do this. Then they talk to each other. So and there's not only one fox deities. Every single fox can become a fox deity if they go through the path of cultivation. Right? So which means that you got a lot of branches. You see, now it looks like organized crime. Organized crime is how every single area got their own organized crime. right? So now in Malaysia, you know, you got your clan, Hak Sewoi, then you got your Cheras Hak Sewoi. Every places got their own clan, right? So they operate almost similar, but different leader. But can the leader talk to each other? Can. Right? So the fox deity can talk to each other. Right? So then they have territorial. This is my territory, right? So if you want to go into a different territory, you need to ask permission from the other fella to go into different territory. So that's why they are very actively recruiting agent. Agent is basically runner, the human runner. Right? So human runner, and they also got spirit runner. So spirit runner will do the spirit part of it, human runner will do the human part of it. So which means that, let's say you want to find out about certain information, missing people. Missing people. Then they will talk to the spirit, right? So their spirit that later I'll introduce you, those fellow are in charge of, you know, information collection, right? So talk to them, then they will go out and talk to their group. So now go and find information. After finish finding, I'm gonna come back here, tell you. Come back here, oh no, then they'll give you certain information. Then, you know, you go and do whatever it is. You get your thing, then in exchange, you know, your karmic point. Now, how much? Don't know, right? So again, much like the gangster, you go and borrow money from this Along, right? Their interest rate is going to be much more higher than bank. But just curious why Taoists accept a fox immortal. It's not whether Taoists accept or they don't accept. There's no question of acceptance here. You do your thing, I do my thing. There's no governing body who said that, you know, you need to accept, you don't need to accept. There's no acceptance here, Alvin. You do your thing, they do your thing, right? So I actually don't really care about you. Same thing like Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism. They don't actually care about each other, right? You're gonna dish it out on each other, you know, it's up to you, but the system itself doesn't really care about each other. You can exist, right? You can, whatever is your own thing. I take care of my own stuff, right? It's just that I'm not telling you that this fella, no, so easy, they are very good. They never get themselves into trouble with the official. Never. Right? Because they are very clear with what they want is that I just want your karmic point. That's it. Right? Your power, your everything, I don't want. I just want your karmic point. Right? So, and you know, I got agent to basically do all this kind of stuff. That's what they do. Right? So if you want charm, cunning, fertility, this is the most popular, by the way. Right? So all the five. Then you got your Huang Xian, right? So Huang Xian, which is Weasel. Weasel. So this is the one that, you know, bring fortune, protection. Hong Kong, do you know there's this thing called Wong Tai Sin? This fella. Right? So, you know, up until a certain stage, they can actually take human form already. They are not human, they can actually morph into human form. So that's why same thing also with the Wu Xin. You have seen certain people where their facial texture is very much like a fox. Very, very much like a fox. Very alluring. Right? So these are people who, you know, believe in this, and the longer they have, you know, they basically can morph into, you know, it's like how your pet after some time look like you. Okay, right? So this one is Wong Tai Sin. So this is the Weasel. Right? So Weasel is another one that is able to cultivate themselves into this spiritual form. Yes, can see from the space that is rotating. Now again, in Malaysia, probably you will not see a lot because accordingly, it's very difficult for this. They probably has an agreement, right? So they don't cross body or water. Right? So that's why a lot of them basically is still enclosed in China. Right? So Hong Kong is actually a very strong believer of this shamanism. Don't know. Right? So you see all the Wu Lei Jing, you know, all the description sin ga. Right? So you go, you know, Hong Kong, you know, you hear people say, lately got sin ga. Yeah, you know, when you said lately got sin ga, it's referring to those people who are practicing this. Right? So Wong Tai Sin is one of the biggest worship temple in Hong Kong. Right? You have seen a lot of movie, you know, Wong Tai Sin Yao Kao Bi Ying. Why is Yao Kao Bi Ying? Must, you know, when you ask, definitely the fellow will grant it to you, because why? The thing that you want to him is useless to him. You come, you know, I grant you lah. No problem. You want power, I'll give you power. Right? So you want, you know, so that's why they go Wong Tai Sin, they ask for money. Because, you know, fortune. Give you lah, no problem. Right, I give it to you. Right? So no, how you want to exchange for it, you know, whether you got enough merit point to exchange for it. They never explain to you one. It's just like borrowing money from a Tai Yilong money lender. They don't come up with like the bank. They're gonna tell you that, oh, okay, this is the interest portion. They don't go and explain to you. You want money? I give you money. Later when I come and collect that time, then only you complain that, oh, why is this like this and like that? And just be careful of that, right? So this is Wang Xin. Right? So no, this is Wang Xin, which is the Weasel. Right? So again, they have their clan, they got the clan, they got their connection. So if you're asking for, you can see it's very departmentalized. Right? So you want to ask for charm, you want to ask for likability, you want to ask for pretty, go and look for the Wu Xin. Right? So then, if you want to ask for fortune, protection, you're going to ask the Wang Xin. Right? So then who else do they have? Right? So then they have a snake. Right? A snake is associated with healing, medicinal. Right? So this is called the Pak Xin. Right? So now Pak Xin, you guys seen the show Pak Jun? A lot of time it's become the green snake. So Pak Jun is basically two sisters, white snake, green snake. Right, so the green snake is the one that is trying to seek love and everything, right? So usually it's that story. Pak Se is the one that's very, very obedient. That's trying to make sure that the sister don't screw up her cultivation to go to the other level. Right, so but eventually the green snake screw up, right? And the white snake need to die, right? But that's basically the story you see, right? So if you ask for healing, if you ask for medicinal, it's basically go and look for this white deity, right? So it's Pak Xin. Right? So you see, very compartmentalized, right? So very compartmentalized. So you see these snake deities, right? So then you got your hedgehog, right? So hedgehog is brute strength, endurance. So you need brute strength, you need endurance, right? So which means Liu Xian, it's called Liu Xian, right? So you want this sort of power, all those kind of things. You basically want to whack the hell out of fella, then you go and pray to this fella. So which means you go and talk to this particular fella. And last one that they have is basically the red immortal. Now, so this is the one that can get information. Right? So this is the one that basically can go places and get all the information that's required. Right, so you go there, you talk to them, and by the way, a lot of time 5 of them is all inside the same temple. So when you invite, you try to invite all of them, and others as well. Many others basically work in the same temple, and they can have different temple. All of them is different. So the main thing you need to know that there's no one central governing system in this. They are all fractionalized systems. So this fox can have his or her own clan. This fox can have their own clan. As long as the fox is able to reach the ascension level, they can open branches. So the fox can basically go and to the human there and go like, psst, go and see who can communicate with. Right? So who can communicate with, they probably, I don't know whether they can or cannot understand human language, right? So I'm not their realm, right? So basically, so that's why I said that you go there, right? You go and simply make wishes, like right now, there's too many people tell you, oh, manifest. Can get a bit dangerous if you're there. Right? So you manifest, they somehow, for some weird reason, was able to, don't know, maybe one of your ancestors has made a contract. Because you were too far away, the contract not valid. Right? So same, if you sign a contract in Malaysia, you could go to Thailand, Malaysia contract, not valid in Thailand. Right? So like property contract, if you got a property in Malaysia, you are a Thailand citizen, you buy a property in Malaysia. If you die, right, it's very difficult for you to claim the property in Malaysia. You need to go through Malaysia property law to claim it. Same thing, if you are property in Thailand and you do not activate a will and you try to get the property after somebody died, it's going to be very troublesome. So probably something that's like this happened. You might have an ancestor that's signed a contract with them a long time ago, but it's like, because you came out here, the contract wasn't very valid, right? So then nothing happened. You probably have some special skills and you hear things lah. But when you go to China, the contract become valid. You see, then suddenly the whoever that you are contracted with, the fella is immortal. Right? It can be it can be signed 1,000 years ago. You come over and then bling, you become locatable. See lah, I go and see. Song lah. The mind actually, when you manifest that, you need to be aware of. Yeah. Right, so these are stuff that probably are not being discussed. When you guys are very happy doing this sort of stuff. So again, you see, if you go there as a very naive individual thinking that this thing doesn't exist, I don't believe in this sort of stuff, right? So this is like somebody who is in Amsterdam. Amsterdam legal to take drugs, right? It's a place whereby drug is basically legal. Can you come to Malaysia and tell them that this thing I don't believe in, my place don't have this sort of stuff, using drug for recreational purpose is fine. You come Malaysia and Singapore and see they hang the fuck out of you. Understand or not? Just because you don't have the belief system doesn't mean that the belief system doesn't work. I'm also not confirming that the belief system is actually true. Just tell you first, right? So it's just because I've read this, I've come across this, might as well just share it with you all, right? So nothing to do with my belief system. My belief system very simple, nothing to do with me. Don't touch. You want to believe, you believe. There's no right, no wrong. Okay, no right, no wrong, because it's your life. I'm not going to interfere with your life, I'm probably not going to contribute a lot, I'm just going to do my stuff, right? So, yeah, right? So, it's, you want to believe, you believe, right? So it's the same thing when people say that, no, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in feng shui. Your problem, you don't believe, that's it. No need to discuss. I'm not there to convince people. So a lot of people say, now how do you convince people on this? You do not convince people on anything. You just present whatever that is. The fella resonate with it. You want to come, go lah. That's it. I'm just offering you something. It's like I cannot convince everybody that curry mee is delicious. Same thing, like Malaysia, you cannot say Klang Bak Kut Teh is good, Singapore Bak Kut Teh is no good. There are people who like Singapore pepper soup Bak Kut Teh. Right? What do? They like it, let them eat it. You don't like it, you don't order. That's all only, don't need to fight. Right? So just telling you this thing is there, the wuxian. Right? So there's another, sect that you need to worry about. If you go to China, other than Taoism, Confucianism, and also Buddhism, there's this another sect which is the shamanism, right? So which is the Chumaxian, right? So Chumaxian is basically that. So the problem with them is that, again, very fractionalized, a lot of different temple, and they only got one job, which is to come and tell you, hey, you want this? Very dangerous if you don't know what they are doing. All right, and they can't really grant you stuff, right? Magical things can happen, right? So again, the magical thing that they can give you is like, it's important to you, is useless to them. Would you give it to them? Right? And when you accidentally agreed on certain thing which they have not explained to you correctly, hell, who's gonna come and help you to cancel the contract? I don't know. You are the one who karmically, at the spirit soul level, sign this particular contract. Right? Not only you're gonna affect yourself, you're probably gonna affect your descendant. Are you ready for this sort of stuff or not? If you're not, then please don't go stupid step on the tail of this sort of fella, just because you think happy kumbaya. Right? So especially you are going to places whereby their activity is more concentrated. Right? So China is a place where the activity is very, very concentrated. Right? So I believe that Hong Kong, Wong Tai Sin is a little bit more professional. Right? Because why? He probably have exclusive land right in Hong Kong. Right? Yeah. Right? He probably is the biggest in Hong Kong. So it's his area. His house will be more bigger. So probably he's more not so crazy, right? So not so crazy as in, he doesn't take all your karmic point at one go. But I scared there's some of it which is a bit more smaller, a bit more crazy one. They may draw up all your karmic point at one go. Right? There are no fixed exchange rate, I'll just tell you first. So all this spiritual exchange that you all do, manifestation, certain thing we need to give it now. You gotta understand one, right? You cannot go to a shop and expect a bowl of noodle for not giving anything back to the noodle owner. You understand that in human life. So when you are manifesting and asking for something, you need to really ask, what am I exchanging it for? Is it something that I can afford or not? Right? So those don't have this credit card mentality. Right? So it's like credit card, credit card you cannot afford first one. Credit card is not your money. Can you buy an iPhone with your credit card slot? And the iPhone will appear in front of you almost immediately after you slot the credit card. Do you have the money to pay for the iPhone? I don't know, right? That one, I don't know. And what you ask for, what are the price tag? What is the exchange rate? right? What is the payment term? Or I don't know. I have not seen any classical text that give a list of, exchange for life, this is the exchange rate. Exchange for money, this is the exchange. I've never seen one, right? But there is always this thing called, I ask for this one, then later I find out that, I need to pay, this happened to me, right? So that, in the Buddhism, it's called the karmic cycle, right? So it's called the karmic cycle. Those things are there, right? So those things are there consistently anywhere you go, any single things basically there, right? So careful. And really, I believe the thing that you ask for right now, which is going to revolve around money, power, sex, fame, are all pretty much useless when you die. I really cannot think of, after you die already, why the hell you need this? Because after you die already, you basically I classify you as immortal, as in, you cannot go anywhere else. You probably exist there for the next 1,000 years. So you just imagine you want to exist in that timeline for 1,000 years, right? How many power exchange has been done? How many sex has, grown old and dated? How much money has been useless there? All this thing, right, is basically only good for, 10, 20, 30 years one, right? In a 1,000 year lifespan that you're going to be around. And that 1,000 year, whether you can escape or cannot escape is all about merit point. Don't you think that a lot of the belief system always tell you, do good, collect merit? They have different name for it. Like, for example, Christian will tell you, do grace. Grace is their term, right? Like in Malay, it's called pahala. Everybody have it, right? Every single religion, you see that they have this karmic system, right? So I use the word, I also forgot. 功德, I basically use the 功德 merit, right? So Buddhism, they will say 因果, right? So it's just different naming only, right? So the Confucianism will say filial law, filial 孝顺, right? So 孝顺, right? So it's basically, right? So you see, it's just different terminology to explain the same stuff. Right, so it's no different, right? So it's just that it suits fair, right? So if you're into a trading mentality, then probably this one would be good, right? So this one don't have anything. I don't need to believe in anything. It's just a trading mentality. You want this, trade. That's it. You want this, I can get you that. Let's go and do a trade, right? Right. The danger part also is you want this, right? Let's go and do a trade, but the contract of the trade is often not straightforward. Right? Don't have central governing body to protect. So got something happen. So it is like investing your money into an overseas company, which a lot, right? So they come over, tell you, oh, this is US Nasdaq listed company, right? So but you also doesn't know what it is. So you're investing the US Nasdaq, and anything happen, then you find out that you cannot even sue this particular company because your country got no law capability to do that. You do your police report, everything, also your money cannot come back. Same thing with here. If things goes wrong, I don't know who to ask you to go and fix this. Don't know. You have to go and find somebody. Definitely not me. Okay, this thing goes south. So I'm telling you this is because, I'm going to bring people over to China. So when in China, that time, unfortunately, it's not easy to explain people on this particular stuff. You might get into huge amount of trouble doing this. Okay, right? So that's why, I just pre-inform you guys. But these things are there, for those of you going to China. Just don't step on their tail. That's it. That's much I can tell you. Don't step on their tail. You don't want to believe in this? Completely fine, right? So no Buddhism, no Confucianism, no Taoism, don't have this shamanism, or Buddhism, or don't exist, it's fine. But you don't go and step on their tail. As in, you go to, you believe in this sort of stuff, right? If just happen God, okay? Right? So that's basically it, my sharing for today, right? So again, hopefully I'm also safe, too far away from them. Because I've seen a lot, the people who basically tell this is always what they have to do is that they have to tatong first, before they touch on this subject. They have to tatong. Tatong means that, they start to tell that, hey, I'm actually the student of this particular whoever it is, they have to do that. Taiwan is the same, this is the same. Before they touch on this topic of this Wu Xian, which is the Chut Ma Xian, before they talk about this particular topic, they have to go and tell that, I'm from here, this is, I'm actually, under the governance of this particular system. Right, got to do that lah. All right, so me right now, no need to do this first, because I think Malaysia, they are not very active, and I'm not doing anything that's offensive to them. I'm just explaining their existence. Hopefully, they don't come and whack me. All right, guys, that's it. Right, so conclusion for this, and I shall not touch all this. Again, what we call deity related sensitive religions topic, I'll try to reduce it. This is just for the necessary purpose of just, getting you all into the thing that, all right, so this thing is there. Right, so now any other one later one, I'll probably just use a bit of a story. So right now I'm looking at a lot of the story behind the journey to the West. Right, so later I'll share you, some of it. Right, so try to bring you the journey to the West, and how does the journey to the West align to modern teaching. It's very amazing. Right now, if you take a look at it, don't just look at it. I know Kevin. You can say I know Kevin because there's too many Kevin. Maybe they'll look for Kevin Bacon. They can look for Kevin Klein. Okay, guys. See you all. Bye.